Hello everyone, welcome back to the homestead. It's just after lunch and I'm coming out to get the meat birds some more food, because if you've been watching for a little while, you have seen they are just eating a lot, right? They aren't foraging really great, but they are eating a lot of food. So it's just after lunch. I'm gonna get them some more so they are kinder to one another and not picking on each other. So Matt and I have had so many things going on right now around the house. Just so many things between business, spring, everything is just going on. So we came in here the other day when we were doing potatoes and kind of organized a little bit so I can remember which feed is for who, because right now nothing is labeled and they're all in similar color bins. So this is our meat bird feed. We've got our laying hen feed on this side of the area and our pig feed back there. I'm sure it wouldn't be the end of the world if I mixed it up a little bit, but I'm not going to do that on purpose. So in the best interest of the chickens and just so they're not all crowding around the feeder, we have been dumping some of the feed now during the day on the ground. I accidentally got one of the chickens there when I tossed it. So hopefully he can dust that off and no one will bother him. Did you see that little laying hen hop right up? Oh, they can fly, and they just fly right out whenever they want to have the top open. So it's kind of funny. They go right back in for food, so they know that at least. So we will be doing 2 rounds of butchering this year. So this is our first round, and this is our first time doing roosters. I don't know if you can see this chicken here, but it's almost like it's having trouble walking. And this is what we notice with the roosters, is it's just like they eat and eat and eat. Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's what's doing it, but we have been losing a rooster here and there every couple days. I think we've lost 9 so far, and last year we lost 2 hens total the whole time. So and both of them came and like something was up with them, so kind of crazy. So I think we've officially made the decision that our next batch will be hens, and we probably will never do roosters again, even though they're supposed to fill out a little faster, which is why we did it, so that we could for sure fit in 2 batches. I don't think it's worth it. So I do have a little while this afternoon to work on some projects around here, and we have so many started projects outside. And today is just beautiful in the fact that it's not too hot and sunny. It's been kind of hot the last few days, almost so where it's kind of hard for me to be out here doing things, which is crazy because it's like we didn't have a spring to actually do anything outside. But Matt did start the other day. It's actually been a few days already. Planting our comfrey. So we had gotten this comfrey, I believe it's from Heirloom Permaculture, so I'll link that below, how to get some from them. But they were just cuttings, and we planted them in pots, and this is outrageous. Like, look at these things, they're huge. So what we decided to do, we went back and forth on where these are going to get planted, is we're planting them around our peach and pear trees that are right here by the garden. So it'll be really convenient for, we're gonna use it for compost tea. So that way, here's my thought, is I can have the compost tea kind of set up right here. So here's the trees, it'll be around them. good ground cover, good nutrients for the trees themselves. Have kind of our compost tea area set up here at the edge of the garden, so we can just pull from the garden and water plants as needed right in the garden. So that's my thought. I think it will work really well. Matt's idea actually, but I really think it will work well. So we have just enough room to put 3-4 comfrey plants around each tree. So I'm gonna finish these up quick, hopefully. So if you're not familiar with kind of like a fertilizer tea for your garden, it's just making a fertilizer out of the things that our gardens need. So like phosphorus and nitrogen and potassium. And Comfrey has all 3 of those in its plants. So that's why we're using it. In fact, it has more potassium than composted manure. So it's just a really good way, sustainable, that we'll be able to continue to have fertilizer for our garden, not spending so much money on organic fertilizer, not stressing over having enough animals to have enough fertilizer. So even if we're not on top of cutting this for our garden fertilizer, it'll compost down right here in the soil and be really good for our fruit trees that desperately need some loving. We need some fruit one of these days. We have our one fruit tree, our one apple tree in the front that produces apples, and that's it. Nothing else really has worked for us as far as fruit trees. So this is a great way to kind of dual purpose the Comfrey. We also have our wild blackberries grow right along the edge of the woods here, so I guess it might help them as well. The kids love picking those every year. As much as it'd be nice to kind of clean up the woods area, we leave it for them to enjoy. So I am putting some kind of garden mix dirt that we have right on these to kind of give them a head start. Oh, that's one Matt planted. The Comfrey also contains calcium and magnesium, which is going to be helpful for our plants as well. And to make the tea, all I'm going to do is when they reach a couple feet tall, I'm going to trim around the outside leaves so it continues growing. And then I'm going to collect just the leaves, not the stems. Place them in some water for a few weeks, kind of steep them like you would tea, and it's gonna make something nasty that's gonna make some food. So I'm told it smells horrendous, but I was also told that pigs smell horrendous. And after having 3 right next to my garden, I think I'll be all right. I hope you enjoyed planting Comfrey with me. I do have a few more projects going on right now at the same time. Both Matt and I do. He's actually helping a friend today, so it's just me out here today. But I did start planting some broccoli. See those beautiful yellow flowers? That's our broccoli. We started from seed. Yeah, it bolted. So I do have some in there that haven't, despite what it looks like. But I did end up buying just a tray worth of plants, so that I can have some decent broccoli. And it ended up being really good timing because the nursery I stopped at, it was getting so hot, like we were having 80-degree days. So they were like, any cold weather crops are half off. And I was like, perfect. So a whole tray of broccoli didn't end up being too expensive. Definitely not more expensive than if I bought that much broccoli. So our onions, we did end up losing quite a few to the heat. So we did purchase some more sets. So as soon as I have time, I'm gonna fill those in one of these days. We have 3 more packages of sets. So I think it's around maybe 75 onions. I don't know if it said an exact number that were in there. And then earlier today I came out, I was out here watering just in the morning, doing morning chores, and I grabbed my seed, and wherever I had some things that hadn't come up, I just planted new seed. Not everything, but our cucamelons, cucuzzi squash, some watermelons, some cantaloupe, and then some pumpkins and more zucchini, because not a lot of the zucchini actually popped up. Because all of these things, I can plant them out straight outside by seed, but I just kind of wanted to get a head start, and Ideally, all these could be outside already, but since I haven't done it, I figured it would take me 5 minutes to just throw the quick seed in, and it really did. It only took me a couple minutes. Throw it in quick, and then by the time I actually go get them out planted, maybe we'll have a few more sprouted. So I don't know, that's my thought. Either that or I'll just throw the little plugs of dirt in and they'll be moist. So I hope you enjoyed this video, seeing what we're up to, learning a little bit more about Comfrey tea. I'd love to hear what you're doing with your garden this time of the year, because it is the season. Thanks for watching. Glad you got to see me again. Bye.